After finishing the third Hobbit movie, director Peter Jackson and co-writer Philippa Boyens were ready to move on.
Oh, it's all a big farewell, really, isn't it, Philippa?
It is. I feel like I've written myself out. I also wouldn't mind handing it over to somebody else.
True to her word, when the next movie set in Middle-earth was released 9 years later, Boyens did not write its screenplay. The new creator she passed the baton to was her daughter, who, despite having no writing credits to her name, Boyens referred to as the franchise's, quote, next generation. This epitomizes a problem affecting every Lord of the Rings spin-off. From Amazon's Rings of Power to Stephen Colbert's recently announced Lord of the Rings movie, to next year's Hunt for Gollum, where key creative positions are hired not because of their talent or experience, but because they can point to a famous family member and say,
"The same blood flows in my veins."
But if you're expecting this video to just be a rant against nepotism, you'll be disappointed. Because, in the words of Elrond, nothing is evil in the beginning, even nepotism was not so. Just as Bilbo chose Frodo to be his heir, Tolkien chose his son Christopher to be his heir. A responsibility Christopher devoted the rest of his life to, working tirelessly to preserve, organize, and share his father's incomplete works, while also turning down licensing opportunities that would have made easy money. But within months of Christopher's retirement, it was announced that Amazon purchased rights to Lord of the Rings material that had never before been available. The new spokesperson for the Tolkien estate became Simon Tolkien, who agreed to become a series consultant for Amazon's Rings of Power. And we all know how that turned out.
I'm good.
No, you're not. Simon provided, quote, invaluable contributions to the series showrunners, who themselves were reportedly hired because of their relationship to J.J. Abrams, despite also having no writing credits to their names. You might notice a trend here, but it'd be a mistake to say that lack of experience always turns out bad. Philippa Boyens had no credits prior to co-writing the Lord of the Rings movies. She got her foot in the door through her boyfriend, who was involved in the early stages of the films, but quickly earned her keep by bringing a wealth of Tolkien knowledge to her co-writers, and becoming an instrumental voice in both condensing Tolkien's story into movies and writing iconic original lines that captured the spirit of the books.
What are we holding on to, Sam? That there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for.
But where the key challenge for the Lord of the Rings movies was condensing Tolkien's epic into 3 films, the challenge of the Hobbit trilogy was stretching one children's book into 3 epic movies. This abundance of new material made the Hobbit movies really our first window into Boyens' own sensibilities as a creator, and how they often differ from Tolkien.
I'm going to replace a bit of Boyens with a bit of Tolkien. Okay. I don't want that to go on the DVD.
While the script was co-written by Jackson, Boyens, and Fran Walsh, behind-the-scenes footage positions Boyens specifically behind several of the movie's most criticized changes, ranging from the creation of bad original characters,
This introduces one of my favorite characters, Alfred.
to the twisting of beloved characters for little more than shock value.
Go home.
It shocks all the fans of the book. All the people who know the end of the story are now on the edge of the seat, because if we can do that, what the hell else are we about to do?
But while the Hobbit movies divided Tolkien fans, they were still financial hits. And so when Warner Brothers needed to fast-track a Middle-earth movie in 2020 or risk losing their film rights, they came to Jackson's team. But where Jackson himself wasn't interested in hands-on control over the film, Boyens felt differently.
Why shouldn't I keep it?
Hiring her daughter to co-write its screenplay while Boyens herself developed, story-wrote, and executive-produced War of the Rohirrim, which ended up being a critical and commercial bomb. But where under normal circumstances a new creative team might be brought in for the next project, Boyens is both executive producing and co-writing the upcoming Hunt for Gollum movie. I say co-writing because she's once again sharing the responsibility with her daughter, a project she and Jackson originally dismissed as a joke in the writer's commentary for the last Hobbit movie.
Aragorn really is the one who tracks Gollum and ends up and finds him eventually in the dead marshes.
So that's like a 7th Tolkien movie that you've just heard. I mean,
The Hunting of Gollum
the
through the
Hunting
wild.
of Gollum. It's a film that we'll never make.
But The Hunt for Gollum isn't the only active Lord of the Rings spin-off, nor the only one turned into a family business. Stephen Colbert is co-writing his own idea for a Lord of the Rings spin-off with screenwriter Peter McGee. If Peter McGee doesn't mean anything to you, it's probably because he was born Peter Colbert. Stephen's son, who like Boyens' daughter, has no screenwriting credit to his name. According to early reports, this movie will involve a new story about Sam Gamgee's daughter Eleanor. a character Tolkien barely wrote about except mentioning that she was extraordinarily beautiful, meaning that the child of a celebrity is writing a movie about the conspicuously hot child of a Middle-earth celebrity who themselves did nothing of real importance. At least Mr. McGee is writing what he knows. But to be clear, I have nothing personally against any of these people, nor even against nepotism within certain limits. 10 years ago, Colbert, his son, and Boyens' daughter were given cameos in the Hobbit trilogy.
I don't know if anyone recognises this is Stephen Colbert with the eye patch on, and those are Stephen's children.
There are some extremely beautiful women in Bree, which we may or may not be related to. My daughter Phoebe is, well, I don't know what she's doing there.
But where the nepotism of casting your children as extras is harmless, the elevation of those children into key creative positions despite complete lack of qualifications feels less harmless. Particularly because Tolkien's main stories have already been told, meaning that each new spin-off relies increasingly less on Tolkien and more on the talent of the people taking his place. Personally, the most eyebrow-raising part is Boyens becoming the new Lord of the Rings kingmaker. Among all three writers of the original Lord of the Rings movies, Boyens alone consistently goes out of her way to criticize Tolkien.
It seemed really weak. It seemed weak for Gandalf not to warn them. I think this moment is better than the moment in the book, and I do think it was a failing of Professor Tolkien's.
Boyens' eagerness to criticize Tolkien is matched by her refusal to accept criticism of her own work, often to the disagreement of her co-writers.
Just to go back to your point about the multiple endings, I think that we should bear some responsibility for that in terms of the storytelling.
People have to understand that we're not ending one film, we're ending three.
But you're just watching one. That's the problem.
It's not a problem.
Boyens feeling enough ownership over The Lord of the Rings to bequeath it to her daughter runs in stark contrast to Christopher Tolkien, who refused to claim ownership over his father's work despite being hand-selected by the man himself. Meaning that if Christopher is our real-life Frodo, Boyens is probably closer to...
Quickly hide!
Characters who are defined by their hostility toward the real Baggins, while also holding a misguided sense of entitlement over their property.
Who are you? What do you mean, who am I? You know perfectly well who I am, Lobelia, Sackville, Baggins. This is my home! And those are my spoons.
But at the end of The Return of the King, Lobelia Sackville Baggins redeems herself. So we can only hope this will be another example where life imitates art. Thanks for watching. Also, thanks to my patrons for making this video possible, including Austin Schaffner, Jack Guest, and Brian McKeon.